Hello guys, this is outperforms and I'm back again with another PC build. This time I'm doing something a bit different than usual. I'll be doing a 400 pound build. That's basically a console killer, or something that's gonna outperform the next gen consoles or the PS4 and Xbox One. So let's set the base price or budget price as £400. I know that the Xbox and PS4 are cheaper than this, but I felt that anything lower than this would not be worth it. So our base or budget max for this PC build is £400. And for £400 you can build a pretty decent gaming system that can easily outperform the PS4 and Xbox One. So again, I'm using a PC part picker as usual, because this gives me the price, a total price for all the parts, and the prices do get updated as the price on the website change. I'm using again Amazon. I'm in the UK at the moment, so I'm using Amazon UK for all the parts, because I believe that getting all your parts from one place is going to be much more convenient, and they'll most likely all arrive at the same time, so you can build your system as soon as you can. Another reason I'm using PC Parts Picker is to get an estimated wattage on what the the system is gonna need. Ours is showing at the moment 344 watts, but we are gonna be doing some overclocking on it, so this wattage would increase, so we need to compensate for that with our power supply. And the price for this, the total did come up to exactly £400 and 59 cents, so we did go over just a little bit on our budget, but that shouldn't matter. Okay, so these are the parts I've chosen, and I believe this is the best you can get at the moment for £400. So let's start with the heart of the build, and this is the CPU. Sorry, the CPU I'm using is the AMD Athlon X4 860K. This is a very good quad-core processor from AMD. It's an FM2 Plus socket processor. Does have 4 megs of cache, which is alright, and it's clocked for 3.7 GHz, but we are planning on overclocking that to at least about 4 GHz. And for the price, for £55, this is one of the best budget CPUs that you can get. You still get very good performance for the money, and the more money should be, we need to allocate more money to the graphics card anyway. So the processor, as long as it's a decent quad core, will not make that big of a difference in our gaming results. So this is for the processor. In order to cool down this process, so we can get a stable and decent overclock, we need a CPU cooler. And for this I've chosen the Cooler Master Hyper TX3 Evo. It's a very decent CPU cooler. It's not going to perform as well as more expensive coolers like the Hyper 212 Evo, but for our price range, to fit in our price range, we needed to save a few pounds here. So this is a very good budget CPU cooler. It should be able to allow us to overclock our CPU to at least past 4 GHz without a problem, and it does have smaller fans, so yeah, the overclocking will be more limited than if you went with a more high quality CPU cooler like the 212. The fan on this is only 92mm, which is alright, for what we needed to do. And we needed somewhere to install a CPU into, and that will be the motherboard. So for this build I chose the MSI's A78M E45 motherboard. It's an FM2 Plus motherboard, so it fits a CPU socket, and it's a micro ATX board, as we're trying to do a small console-like build. And this motherboard is a very good motherboard from MSI. It supports 4 RAM slots, so we can put up to 4 modules on it, and does have PCI Express 3rd gen PCI Express E slots, which is very good, and does support crossfire, I believe. So you can potentially crossfire with this, but I would not recommend it. And the board should be good enough to let us have a right overclock on our CPU. And overall, it's a very good motherboard for the money, and at only £40, it's a very good deal. And we need some RAM as well. This is the HyperX Fury Series 8GB at DDR3 RAM at 1866 MHz. This is a very good RAM, and it's gonna match our motherboard color, the motherboard's blue color, and it's, in my opinion, it's one of the very good RAM. I've owned this myself, so I can recommend it, and that's what we'll be using in our build. For storage, I would have liked to have an SSD in this build, but with a limited budget I opted to go with more storage, so I chose the Seagate Barracuda 1TB hard drive. This is a 7200 RPM hard drive, which is very fast, with 64 meg cache, I believe, which is very good. So this will be a very fast drive, and should be enough for what we needed. We needed to store all our games, all our big game libraries, so it's much more than what you get on your PS4 and Xbox One. They only get 500 gigs, but in our one we have 1 terabyte. And if you do want the SSD performance, then you can get one of Kingston's HyperX. I believe they're about the same price as this at the moment. So if you decided you want to do this build yourself, then if you can squeeze that extra 50 quid for an SSD, that will be perfect. But for our build, they'll be going with the Seagate's Barracuda 1 terabyte hard drive. Okay, we need to so the next thing is one of the main components of a gaming build, and it's the video card, or the graphics card. And for this build I went with the Gigabyte AMD R9 270 OC edition. It is a 2 gig card with a 256-bit interface at DDR5. This is one of the best budget cards you can get. The R9 270's performance is pretty similar to the 270X's, and it's a lot miles better than the integrated graphics you get on the PS4 or Xbox One, which are more compared to the 7850, I believe. They're about that price, and this is more like the 7950, I think, since it's a rebrand. So, or 7850, 7870, I believe. I'm not sure on that one, but this is going to be a lot better than what you get on the PS4 or Xbox One. And for the money, I can't recommend this card enough. 2 gigs should be enough for now. For 1080p gaming, it's more than enough. But in the future, games are tending to utilize more VRAM. So right now at 1080p, this should be a perfect card. And let's move on to the next component, which is the case. That's where all the parts are gonna go. They're gonna get installed in, and it's very important. So I went with since we have a micro ATX motherboard, so I decided to go with a micro ATX form factor case and this is the Cooler Master N200. It's a very compact Cooler Master case, and it's very good for the money. For only £36 you get a nice little micro ATX case that you don't really necessarily need to use as a desktop PC. You can do this build as a home fit and basically use it the same way you would use a PS4 or Xbox One, and it would have a much better performance. So it's a very good and compact case, and it should fit all our parts in nicely, and it does look very nice. There's a nice I don't know, line going through it, which it's a very good looking case, and I would recommend it for this build. And finally, we need something to power all of our components, and that will be the power supply. And for this build I went with the EVGA's 500 watt power supply. It is 80 plus certified, so you get that 80 plus efficiency, and it's EVGA right now makes very good power supplies for the money, and for only $34.65 you get an amazing 500 watt power supply, and that is all that's all we really gonna need in terms of wattage. Our system shouldn't use that much. We are gonna overclock it, which will push the power requirements, but this power supply will be able to handle that nicely. And that is it for the build, guys. If you like this video, make sure you click the like button and subscribe to my channel. I will leave a PC parts picker link in the video notes below if you want to go and check it out. And thank you for watching.